My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Geminis. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot, and for this week, we're going to be doing the Vlad Dracula Tarot. Since we are 2 weeks away from the beautiful All Hallows Eve and also the upcoming performance where I have mostly mixed feelings about personally, but I hope everybody will enjoy it either way. I'm just kidding. No, I'm really excited about it. But other than that, I'm going to be doing the 11 card Dracula spread in the form of the Vlad Dracula Cross. So, but I'm not going to be talking about like the historical parts of each card except for just the titles for that matter. So for, it's like for card number 1, you get the Hermit, Virgo energy, okay? And it says card number 1, the significator forms the base of the cross. Everything in this reading will be built upon this foundation. So what do we know about Hermit is that it's pretty much kind of doing introspection and going within. And that's what I love to see is, you pretty much just think, okay, it's like, I need to do some introspection. I need to maybe do some self-evaluation. I need to kind of have this personal overview because, whatever is going on in your life, whether you actually achieve this very beautiful desired goal, dream, outcome, what have you in other ways, what I do see is that you were pretty much just kind of, this is like, yeah, sort of like preparation work in other ways where you're just kind of preparing yourself for the big day, for any other, special occasion, grand announcement, what have you in other ways. But this is very important just to kind of go in and just think, okay, right now, it's like we need to have alone time. And having alone time is actually so important on many levels. It's good to, we'll be amongst your friends, your family, and stuff like that. But it's also, you'll get to sometimes go within and just think, okay, yeah, let's just do a little bit of, introspection and self-reflection and let's just kind of check in with ourselves. Well, that's a really good thing. And it's also kind of like the grounded card. It's like it says this is the base of the cross. It's like the ground where the cross is being formed. Then then card number 2, you get 6 of Stakes, also known as the 6 of Wands, a big, grand celebratory occasion. Aha. So card number 2, crossing the significator. This card represents the challenges you'll have to overcome in order to achieve the desired outcome. So the thing is, why would a big celebration will be a challenge? Well, the thing is, everybody's different in their own ways. If you don't care for celebrations, they're 100% prerogative in other ways. But this is kind of also acknowledging, all of your hard work and stuff like that. And some humans that even the human even told me about, because when I think you graduated college or something, or high school, one of those academic institutions, a lot of, the students, they were just kind of sitting there a little bit on the glum side because, it's like, some humans, they were just all like overjoyed thinking, yay, I actually accomplished and this is this very beautiful ceremonial occasion. But other ones were just kind of sitting there thinking, it's, the fact is sometimes, these big occasions don't hit somebody until later on. It's like, they're still kind of in the transition phase of actually trying to embrace any kind of celebratory occasion. And sometimes with some humans, they're not quite there yet to be saying, oh, wow. Because some humans, they could also be thinking, I know I should be happy, but why aren't I? I mean, everybody's different. Everybody reacts different. Just because, you're not like some of these hyper people that love to hop up and down and say, yay, about everything, right? No, some people, they just kind of still, will go within and they think, how did I manage to accomplish this? So, then we get to card number 3. And you get Magician, one of your cards next to Virgo again. Goodness, there's Virgo Gemini energy today, isn't there? Okay. So card 3 above the significator, this shows the skill or ability you'll need to have in order to achieve the desired outcome. So the thing is the challenge is maybe kind of coming to terms with something, but this is also, what you'll need to have is to start manifesting something. You don't have to be manifesting happiness. You don't have to be manifesting reality in any way, but it's kind of, just more or less is kind of, coming to terms. It's kind of like allowing yourself to wake up and stuff like that. Because what is that one moment called? It's I don't remember what it's called because I never experienced it. But the human experience is where you wake up, but you're not. It's like, goodness. I mean, I'll try to post it in the comment section below. But it's pretty much you wake up, but but you can't move your body or something, or you're struggling with some kind of nightmare and you want to actually wake up, but you're not quite there to actually wake up as of yet. I mean, okay, I know I'm just kind of sounding a bit, well, maybe a bit unusual, let's say. But the point what I want to make here is, it's like, it's important just to keep going, just to keep manifesting, just to keep moving and stuff like that. So just because, that big euphoric feeling hasn't happened yet, you will, the cards mostly want me to explain to you in other ways. I mean, my goodness, I just really want to know what that thing is called. Otherwise, I'll eventually get to it. But the thing is just to keep moving. And eventually, something is, like your sense of reality is going to kick in and stuff like that, It's like when you get that out of body feeling, it's like some humans, they kind of feel all, swimmy and wavy and stuff like that because, they may be there physically, but emotionally or mentally, they're not quite there or they're elsewhere and stuff like that. But other than that, it's pretty much that you'll need to have the skill of keep going. Because then we get to card number 4. And you get King of Swords, one of your beautiful cards. So card 4 above 3. This is the first bar of the cross, forming the basis of future and past events. So this specific card represents present circumstances. So what I see you doing is, you want to start manifesting this big plan. And that's a really important, step or even kind of action to take. Is in current times, it's really important just to keep going, but having like this plan. So let's say that you did graduate from like high school or college. So let's first start with high school because that's, below college for that matter. Maybe you have to do a lot of preparation work, to get into college, or maybe you're actually doing preparation work to fill in like job applications and stuff like that. So maybe, it's like, well, you're not quite there yet to really experience the joyous occasion of the celebratory moment because maybe you're not really in the celebratory moment. Maybe you're just kind of like thinking, okay, I'm right here, I'm getting my diploma or certificate and stuff like that, but I don't feel like I'm in the celebratory moment because there's just so much work to do. I'm exhausted beyond belief, though we haven't come across the Nine of Wands, but of course you don't need to have those particular cards to be experiencing anything. And from anything, you could also still be experiencing devil situations of maybe a lack of confidence within yourself, even though we haven't come across it as well. But this is kind of what I see you doing is you are manifesting a plan, which is a very good thing. And maybe that's why, it's like you're not quite there to be, jumping around with your friends, your comrades, whoever, you were with and stuff like that. But anyway, then we get to card number 5, Justice, Libra energy. Okay. So card number 5 above 4, this is the second bar of the cross. It shows the highest possible outcome, and it's an indication of what will be. So in the most probable part of, in your future at least, what I actually see is that you're going to be in a balanced position. Maybe you're nervous about applying for your first job. Maybe you're nervous about heading off to college and stuff like that. Maybe, it's like, the reason why, it's like the challenge is trying to embrace the celebratory occasions because maybe, it's like you just think, oh goodness, it's like I just can't celebrate right now because, the next day or a week later, I'm going to have to experience this big change, this thing. But I see you actually managing just fine. Or you could be heading off towards a legal situation. Maybe you're heading off towards law school. Or what have you in other ways, but justice is definitely, just kind of, in the end, you will be in a very balanced position nonetheless. So, well, be rest assured, sometimes you have to, or maybe that is what you are definitely manifesting, is a way on how you can keep yourself balanced in other ways as well. Because I will tell you something, because with this upcoming performance of mine, it's like, okay, I have mixed feelings. 1 minute I feel like, yay, this is so exciting. And then a few, evenings later, I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing now? All this, uncertainty, starts washing over me and stuff like that. So I actually, created this ASMR. I have no idea what that meant, but the human advised me to actually, create this very, just relaxing and calm. I'm going to have, this very interesting video. It'll actually be my first calming video because he said, it's like, he was actually kind of giving me like a metaphorical taste in other ways about what, what he was doing and stuff like that. And it really actually put me in a nice relaxed mindset. And he said, you should actually try that out with your followers or fledglings and stuff like that as well. So please feel free to stay tuned for that. Then we get to cards 6 and 7, but we're going to start off with 6, which is about the immediate future. You get Page of Stakes, also known as Page of Wands. Okay, so in the immediate future, I see you heading off towards this very passionate, fiery voyage or quest wherever it's going to be guiding and leading you towards in other ways. Because the pages, whether it's a page of swords, pentacles, cups, or wands for that matter, is a journeys card. So pretty soon, I actually see you just heading out towards that first job, or your first college experience, or this new voyage you're heading off towards. Yes, you might actually not be there to really be experiencing it, but as you kind of grow into it, and as you pretty much just kind of reassure yourself, keep yourself balanced and grounded as much as possible, and then eventually you'll find this motivation or your groove to want to head out into this world or towards your destination, stuff like that. Because then for number 7, you get the immediate past, the Star. So in the immediate past, so this is probably like some kind of job or career that you were really wishing for in other ways as well. And it's interesting because this is like, one of another one of your brother, sister air cards, an Aquarius card. You could also have Aquarius placements. But what I'm actually see here is, it's like you got the Star Wish fulfillment, and that's why you can't, and let me just put it into modern day phrases because I was almost going to go into archaic, ancient lectures for a moment. But the thing that I wanted to mention is, it's like you're doing hermit mode as a thing because, like the whole celebratory occasion of the Star Wish fulfillment hadn't kicked in yet. And that's sometimes the case, when you're hoping and wishing upon anything, whether it's that job, whether it's that academic institution, whether it's anything, is that suddenly you do get it because this took place in the immediate past, but it didn't quite click with you, and that's why you pretty much saw the Six of Wands with this big celebratory occasion as a challenge, because you weren't quite there to really be there. And so, but that's why you were kind of keeping yourself balanced. Maybe you did get it behind the scenes or behind the curtain, or maybe in a big shiny wrapped box and stuff like that, and you just had to wait for the for the moment to open it up and stuff like that. So that's why you did get some kind of Star Wish fulfillment, and you're pretty much heading off towards that beautiful Star Wish fulfillment. I mean, my goodness. And then we have 8 and 9. So cards 8 is about the distant future. So pretty soon, you could be in a top position because this is Aries. So you could also have Aries placements maybe. But other than that, when you're going to be in a routine and a structured position, stuff like that, yes, you got the Star Wish fulfillment, and you get the Emperor in the distant future. Because in the distant past, you got Judgment. So this is pretty much, like, how, this big sense of clarity finally kicked in. Finally, you're realizing, you're heading off towards this Emperor mindset, position, whatever it may be. Because suddenly this grand announcement, your head was out of the clouds, this big sense of clarity, it's just suddenly, popped into your mind, and you thought, wow, Star Wish fulfillment? A big, strong position of whatever it may be, and this is where the Scorpio cards have suddenly clicked in. And sometimes, the challenge of finally, coming to terms with any kind of grand celebratory occasion, it takes time, but as long as you pretty much, can give yourself the time of justice of thinking, okay, right now, let's just kind of keep ourselves as balanced and calm as possible. Eventually, you're going to be heading off towards this outcome, or, pretty soon, because, we're going to be heading off towards the outcome of outcomes after this combination. But goodness, this just looks fabulous because, yep, for the outcomes of all outcomes, you start off with Hanged Man, Pisces energy. And then you get the Hierophant, marriage or contract deal, Taurus energy. My goodness, there's quite a few major arcanas here. We got the Star, got the Emperor, we got Judgment, got Justice, we got Hierophant, we got Hanged Man. Wow, just some big, important top cards for my beautiful air signs of Geminis out in this world. And I see that you're going to be incredibly committed. Here you're doing another, bit of introspection, self-reflection. You're granting yourself that big overview. You're overlooking the value of all of your hard work, or maybe even looking back at the past and think, wow, how did I manage that? Because introspection mode is finally kicking in, and now it's guiding you towards this feeling of committed feelings. This is one of the best readings I feel like I've done for this week. For even though you may be the third one, but still, I think this is a very, very important and passionate reading. My goodness. I would never be able to, it's like, this just looks fabulous and stuff. But anyway, I'm sad but true for now. I'm going to have to leave it at this. But if this reading resonated for Gemini's Gemini placements, please feel free to join and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. I love you guys incredibly. This is a very fabulous, beautiful reading. I really hope it does resonate for Gemini's Gemini placements out in this world. So next week I'm going back to general readings, general love readings, stuff like that, since we are heading off towards that spooky season. And please feel free to stay tuned for the upcoming performance virtual video that will be presented on October 31st. But other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Please, we'll take excellent good care of this beautiful journey you're on. And as per usual, always take good care of yourself as well.